Azure Active Directory is Microsoft's cloud-based identity and access management service. It authenticates users and allows them to access resources and applications using mobile devices, laptops, and desktop PCs. If you plan to use remote desktop connection to access an Azure AD connected device, you may need to troubleshoot the connection. For example, you may have a remote device that you need to connect to, or if you have an Azure subscription, you might use virtual machines created and stored in Azure. These virtual machines can be running Windows 10 and be joined to Azure AD just like any other physical device. Once created, you may need to connect to the virtual machine, perhaps to configure or support it. Windows 10 supports remote connections using remote desktop connection from another Azure AD joined device. To set up remote connections using the Azure Admin Portal, I've logged on to my portal to azure.com. On the top menu, I'll select Virtual Machines and then select my virtual machine. Along the top menu, I'll now click the Connect button, and on the right-hand side, I can download a bespoke Remote Desktop Protocol, or RDP file. I can then use this file to launch the Remote Desktop Connection tool, and all the settings that I need to connect to the virtual machine have been configured. I'll click on Connect button, then confirm the identity. And here we can see a remote desktop connection has been made to the virtual machine stored in Azure. In the settings, as I can confirm that this is a managed device. Let's now review some of the issues that you may encounter that you need to troubleshoot. Another problem you may encounter is that Windows 10 devices can be configured to prevent RDP connections. You can check the status of your machine by using the settings. Click System and scroll down to Remote Desktop, and here we can see Remote Desktop has been enabled. If I click Advanced Settings, here we can see that this machine has been configured for Network Level Authentication. We need to disable this setting because Remote Desktop Client doesn't support Network Level Authentication. This setting can be amended in the UI using the settings of or via the registry. There's also an additional registry setting that we need to configure. Therefore, I'll launch the registry. And then navigate to H key, Local Machine. System. Current control set. Control. I'm going to scroll down to the bottom and locate Terminal Server. Expand WinStations and click RDP TCP. I'll then scroll down to the bottom and I'm looking for a key called User Authentication. This setting will have a value of 1 and it needs to be changed to 0. We then need to configure the security layer setting. Here you can see this is configured with the value of 2, and this needs to be changed to 0. We can now close the registry. You can also use group policy to allow remote desktop protocol connections. Let's take a look. The group policy setting that we need to configure is located in the Computer Configuration, Administrative Templates, Windows Components, Remote Desktop Services, and the Remote Desktop Session Host. We then need to scroll down and find the security option. Here you can see the various group policy settings that you can configure to allow remote desktop connections. Now that I've configured my settings, I'll now log off the machine and log back on using Azure Active Directory credentials. I'll log into my machine, and this time I'll use my Azure Active Directory credentials. And here we can see we've connected to the Azure Join device.